From the other video, you learned how to do the Lewis dot structures and also the mole related calculations. I wanted to teach you another efficient method, so you can choose which method you prefer, okay, to do the setup. And on the left-hand side, this is the lecture outline from our Unit 2, Part 2, outlines the filled-in notes. And then if you turn to page 21 at the bottom, there's a map there. During the lecture, I didn't have opportunity to teach you how to use this map. I did point it out, but I want to use some problems to show you how you can make a plan using the map. So in the other video, what I was teaching you is by using this principle, right? When you make a plan, so for example, for question 10, the question says how many molecules of water contain 45.2 grams of hydrogen? So one number is given, so when you make the plan, of course, you start with gram. Hydrogen is the element here. And then the desired unit is molecule and water. So in the video, I emphasized both units and labels are required from this moment on. Okay, it's not like unit 1, you just use one unit and do the conversion. Right now, you're dealing with two things, unit and the label. Label simply is the formula. It's either the formula of the element or the formula of the entire molecule or compound. Now, when I showed you in the video and I said only change one thing at a time when you're making the plan. And so that is actually, for myself, I use that method. But I understand a lot of students are visual learners, so having the map maybe help you as well. So let's take a look at question 10, okay, see how we use the map. So in the map, in the lecture, I talked about New Jersey and New York, in between, that's the tunnel. And usually it's very congested because of the traffic. That almost the only way for you to enter into New York from New Jersey if you don't want to take a boat. If you want to just go on the ground, the tunnel is the only way. Then our only way is the mole ratio. Okay, so last time we talked about 3 conversion factors. One is the Avogadro's number. And for represent particles, oh, by the way, there's a mistake here. It should be represented particles, not PR. It should be RP. So when you're dealing with the relation between mole and the represent particles, the answer is Avogadro's number. And this particle can be changed to the 3 things: atoms, molecules, formula units. Which one can it be replaced with depending on what compounds you are dealing with on page 1? So we were talking about most elements and also diatomic elements, molecular compounds, ionic compounds. So for different categories, you have different represent particles that you can cancel out and replace by, okay, using the specific term like atoms, molecules, formula units. All right. And then the second conversion factor is called the mole ratio. This mole ratio. And then the numbers are simply from the subscripts. The third conversion factor is called the molar mass. And you use the periodic table to derive that number. I have seen students write 15.999 in the setup. Please don't do that because it takes more time of yours. And when you enter into the calculator, you also need to enter all those digits, which is completely unnecessary. So when you do the setup, you should already round it to 1 decimal place. So for oxygen, it's always 16.0. Do not write 15.999, okay? So now 3 conversion factors. So we have the tunnel. Now, what is New Jersey and what is New York here? The New Jersey is the compound. So for our question 10, it would be water. Okay, water is a compound, right? And New York, the label is changed into an element. So for question 10, it's hydrogen. So we are moving from one city or state to another city or state. okay? From the compound to element, you have to use mole ratio, which is a subscript, to progress. Now, within each city or state, okay, for New Jersey state, you can visit Piscataway, you can go to where? Princeton. So you can go to different places like grams or particles by using different conversion factors, right? And then in New York, you can go to Brooklyn and Manhattan. So different places within that big section. Okay, so now let's see for question 10. Grams of hydrogen is given. Hydrogen is an element. So what is given? So let me highlight it. It's actually this. Are you with me? For question 10, I'm doing question 10, the lab 6B. Question 10. So what is given here? 45.2 grams of hydrogen. This is my starting place on the left. So I have gram A. A means a single element. Now, what is my desired unit and label? It's molecules water. So could you decide where is it in the map? First of all, it's water. That means we need to go to New Jersey, right? New York is all for the elements, single elements. We need to go to the left side of the map for the compound. But what is S is molecule. Where is the molecule in the map? It's down here, right? Okay, so that's the particles. And for water, the reference of particles is molecules. That's good. Okay, so how can you move from grams A to particles of the compound? You go through the tunnel, right? So you go to one end of the tunnel, and you keep going, and you go to the other end of the tunnel, and you go to the right place within the New Jersey state. So how many conversion factors do you think you will need? 3 arrows, meaning, okay, so this is the first arrow, the second, the third. And this is simply the plan. If you take a look at right-hand side, you see grams. The next one is mole hydrogen. That's the end of the tunnel in the New York side, right? And the next one is mole of the compound. That's the other end of the tunnel in the New Jersey section side. And then you go to the particles of water. You see, by using the map, you are actually setting up the plan. And once the plan is set up, the rest is easy. You just use the 3 conversion factors. Any questions? No? Okay, so how many of you prefer using the original method? Just when you make the plan, you change one thing at a time. By one thing, I meant either you change the unit or you change the label. And if you are now starting with mole, your next one is always mole without thinking. So you just change from gram to mole, but you already changed the unit. You have to keep the label the same. So that's why we put a hydrogen. And from the left-hand side, you should understand, because we are going to the tunnel, right? So the label remains the same. You are still in New York, but you are changing the unit by going to the mole, which is one end of the tunnel. But on the right-hand side, if you already got to the mole, then you're already at one end of the tunnel. So your next one should be also the mole, but of the other side of the tunnel, which is New Jersey. That's water, right? And then you only, so you are keeping the units the same and changing the label. Now, after you get to New Jersey, then you can go to different places. And for this question, it asks for molecules. So you are changing the unit again, but keeping the label the same. So this is method number 1. You're changing one thing at a time in setting up the unit. Method number 2, you use the map and you determine the path and you copy it down for the plan. How many of you prefer method 1? So 1, 2, 3. 3 students. How many prefer the map, using the map? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. The rest of you, you're still making up your mind, which is okay. Or you can try either method to see which one fits better your learning style.